You are wrong about the DCU's Batman debate. At least, you are if you think that Robert Pattinson's Batman doesn't fit in the DCU. The character of Batman means so much to me, and has done for as long as I can remember. It's been a childhood dream of mine to see Batman done well in a well-executed expanded universe, interacting with all these characters I've loved for as long as I've been here. So in this video, I'm going to try, and emphasis on try, to convince you that there isn't a better fit for Batman in the DCU. The superhero space has been turned upside down with this debate recently, so I thought, fuck it, I'd give my 2 cents on it. Not that I think anyone is particularly interested or clamoring for my 2 cents. So, does Robert Pattinson's Batman fit in the DCU? Yes, that's it. Video's over. Thank you for watching. Jokes aside,
Vlad, somebody should shoot you in the neck with a tranquilizer dart.
I want to preface this discussion by saying I've been flip-flopping both sides of this debate ever since it started, and I probably will continue to flip-flop right up until we see a Batman in the DCU, whether it be Robert Pattinson's or otherwise. The first point I want to make, or rather dispute, are the claims that this Batman is too grounded for a world of metahumans and aliens. While yes, the Batman was a more grounded in realism take on the character, a core element to having a fantastical Batman is that he is ultimately just a man. Even with his infinite wealth and infinite gadgets and those Tibetan monk techniques, the idea that this Batman couldn't live in a broader and expanded universe full of metahumans, Kryptonians, and mutant babies because it goes against the detective noir world of the Batman, when that's always how it's been in the comics, or at least how I've viewed it. Classic detective stories like Hush, The Long Halloween, and The Court of Owls that's been brought up so much with the Batman universe, respectively, are all part of a broader DC universe. One full to the brim of metahumans, aliens, and Mr. Handsomes alike. Batman is ultimately just a man, and Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves have done a brilliant job portraying that in the Batman universe. And I expect that in The Batman Part 2, he'll only grow and evolve as both a person and as Batman. But ultimately he is supposed to feel somewhat out of his depth, almost like he doesn't belong among these gods and monsters. No Batman in this fantastical expanded universe could go toe-to-toe with Doomsday or Darkseid. At least not in the traditional sense.
Well played.
But Batman finds a way, and that's what he brings to an expanded DC universe. The evolution of Bruce's character could, and in my eyes will, lead to the Bruce Wayne that we all know and love from the comics. Not an exaggerated playboy philanthropist, at least not really, but the real Bruce who is loving and a broken man wanting to fix all he can. The side of himself that is only privy to Alfred, his sons, the Robins, Superman, Selina, the Batgirls. With this growth in character, I would love to see a growth and development in the Batsuit. Not to say I disliked the design that was used in the Batman, I actually really like the Pattinson suit, but an evolution of the suit to represent the evolution of Batman visually would be really cool. Something akin to this artwork by @DarkPrinceRevan on TikTok, with that great Matt Reeves bat symbol, maybe outlined in yellow like DC Rebirth's Batman design. A man can only dream. Another evolution within this universe, coming from Matt Reeves himself, is the evolution of the infamous Batman Rogues Gallery. In The Batman, when the Riddler is arrested, he has an interaction with this Batman's Joker, played by Barry Keoghan. This scene was to show the beginning of the traditional supervillain. This marks a telltale, pardon the pun, point in the universe, going from a world of mob bosses and mafiosos like the Maronis or Falcones, to more outlandish characters like the aforementioned Joker. And with Matt Reeves co-producing Clayface, which is in the DCU, I think it's fairly safe to say he has at least some element of interest in a fantastical Batman, or what the fantastical side of Batman can bring. Having this more experienced Batman evolve as we see this already beautifully stylized Gotham birth the lunacy that it's known for, and potentially open the door to many more stories and adventures, uniquely grounded within the fantastical, and work as a stepping stone towards this Batman living in that world of gods and monsters. Something else I want to touch on is that, from what we know of the DCU Batman, he is quite a ways older than Pattinson's Batman and David Corenswet's Superman. He's already on his 4th Robin, Damian Wayne. I have to say, I am not too pushed on this age gap between the world's finest. Of course, I'm no writer for DC, I'm just an asshole with a keyboard. But this age gap, to me, makes their friendship and that classic brotherly bond they have.
Whatever happened to her?
She died.
No. Are you sure?
Reasonably.
Why is it the good villains never die?
Clark, what the hell are good villains?
Less believable. That bond is so crucial for both Bruce and Clark, and the age gap restricts and limits the impact that Superman could have not just on Bruce, but the extended Bat family. For example, Superman giving Dick the title of Nightwing, like in the comics, coming from an old Kryptonian tale, when he eventually grows out of being Robin. That is such a cool element to Dick and Clark's character, and with the age gap and being this far into the Batman story within the DCU, we lose that, and that's not something I'm too keen on. Now, if the rumours of Robin being in the Batman Part 2 are to be believed, this would more likely than not be Dick Grayson. I mean, he is traditionally the first Robin. Me personally, I'd love a Cassandra Cain in this universe. I think that character would meld so perfectly with the Batman that we have established in the Matt Reeves universe. But ultimately, that's a whole separate video, and the chances of us getting that are very slim. Unless, of course, he's in the DCU. I didn't even have that in the script, that just came to me, but that's all the more reason I want to see it. Pattinson having a Robin and the tone that sets would make for a great jumping in point into the DC expanded universe, in my opinion. Next, I want to loop back to Clayface, which, as I said, is a part of the DCU. Throughout its filming, we've gotten access to many set photos, and this has been the source of so many debunkings and gotchas on both sides of the debate. From the 2 different GCPD logos, meaning they're completely separated and there's no chance of them intertwining, to a small sticker of the Batman logo from the Matt Reeves universe appearing on a dumpster. This confirming they're 100% connected, and it couldn't just be a joke by a prop guy. In my eyes, from the conversation and debate sparked by the Clayface set photos, to how both Matt Reeves and James Gunn have talked about the idea in interviews, especially with Gunn talking to Entertainment Tonight back in June about the DCU's Batman.
You know, listen, everything's in flux, so we'll figure out what we're doing next, yeah.
Just has me feeling a bit like I did when we were talking about the different Spider-Men appearing in No Way Home.
I'm not the werewolf.
I want to quickly mention another upcoming DCU project in 2027, that being Man of Tomorrow, which I already talked about on the channel, and the video will be linked here or here, I don't really know which side of the screen it's on, and it will also be a part of my DCU playlist. Another film releasing in 2027 is of course The Batman Part 2. Matt Reeves' sequel is currently slated for the end of 2027, and the hype period for both of these movies is going to be insane. It's going to be like one big nerdy Barbenheimer situation. 2 tonally opposite blockbusters sharing their release windows and their hype periods. This immense build-up will only be doubled down on by the fact that they are both pillars of DC and pillars of superhero content, being Batman and Superman. And not to slander general audiences here, if I am, I hold myself accountable. But as a general moviegoer, I think these 2 movies being hyped up together like that, whether intended or otherwise, would be pretty confusing if they weren't connected. Again, as a general moviegoer, I'm sure us MCU shills, we know all about multiverses at this point. And speaking of the fact that they're tonal opposites, this has been another major point of contention in the debate, how tonally different these portrayals are. But that's the point? Not to be an ass, but Batman and Superman living in the same world are supposed to feel tonally different. Despite their common goals, this is why the world's finest works. This is why Batman and Superman are the duo that they are, because they feel so different, yet they feel so well made for each other. That's not helping the shipping allegations. Them being so different allows them to rub off on each other and grow into the best friends we know them to be. Their differences allow them to help each other grow into better heroes. The Batman 2022 ended with Batman realizing he can't just be a symbol to spook muggers, but he also has to be a symbol of hope for those done wrong by Gotham and its innate corruption and villainy. Knowing that and keeping in mind David Corenswet's Superman, this screams to me issue 2 of the DC's New Frontier. Specifically when Batman says to Superman, "I set out to scare criminals and not children." This feels, to me at least, like an actual interaction between David Cornsweet's Superman and Robert Pattinson's Batman. And this dynamic is exactly what I'd expect from the crossing over of the two. So despite them being packaged completely differently, despite one listening to Nirvana and the other to the Teddy Bears, one leaping from rooftops while the other leaps them in a single bound, one of them clad in black, darkness and eyeshadow, the other saturated in red, blue and boyish charm, they are both symbols of hope. Not just to those in-universe, but to us as fans who look to these characters, who are inspired by these characters, inspired to be good, to be kind, and to try, even when shit just doesn't go your way, and they both strive for a better tomorrow. As I've said before, I know I'm no writer, and I know that James Gunn, Matt Reeves, and all of those involved know far more and far better than I do. I just want to yap about this character and this iteration of the character that I love so much, and this idea that I've fallen in love with, of him sharing this beautiful expanded universe, and just have some fun throwing my proverbial hat into the ring of this debate that, in James Gunn's own words, is not an important debate. But how do you feel about Matt Reeves' Batman going forward and the potential merger with the DCU? Are you a quote-unquote merge bro and want to see the merger happen? Do you hate the idea entirely? Sound off in the comments. I'll be reading every single one, replying to them all as well. And I'd love to have this discussion and yap with you all about these amazing characters. But please keep it respectful. Yes, people are going to disagree with you, but that does not excuse you being an ass, whether it's to me or someone else in the comments. I would like to quickly say thank you to one of the kindest, if not the kindest soul in the online comic book / superhero space, Marcus Comics. He's one of the coolest creators out there, and he's been so welcoming and just generally been an awesome dude to watch and to talk to. His YouTube and TikTok are going to be linked down below in the description, so if you somehow don't already know him, go show him some well-earned and deserved love. Once again, I want to shout out my Discord community, which you can join with the link below if you want to talk more about the Batman, the DCU, you're looking for people to game with, or you just want to post memes about my dumbass. You're more than welcome to, and we'd love to have you in there. Let's have a discussion about this, and thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I can catch you in the next one. Take it easy.